Welcome to Empowered by East Season 2. I'm Aly Hobson from Whitehall High School.
And I'm Blair Huddleston from Wynn High School. This year, we're celebrating 30 years of East, revolutionizing education.
This season, we're going to be talking to people from East at every single level. Students, facilitators, alumni, and community partners, and learning how they have made East what it is today.
Now, let's jump into today's episode.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Season 2, Episode 3 of Empowered by East. Today, we're here at Nettleton High School in Jonesboro, Arkansas. What are we doing here today, Blair?
We are here to chat with several East alums from Nettleton to learn their stories and how East equipped them to be successful in their careers.
So this sounds like a pretty great collab episode today, Blair. So let's go ahead and get started with our very first guest on our very first segment of today's episode. So would you mind introducing yourself and tell us what year you graduated?
My name is Rachel Anderson, and I graduated 2011.
Alrighty then. So tell us, Rachel, about your time at Nettleton in East.
It was arguably the best time of my life. I loved it. It was great.
I know for both of us, I think we can attest, especially our East experiences in high school, especially is still just the greatest thing ever. So in high school, it's definitely more fun. You kind of you're growing up, but East is helping you grow and getting you ready for your future career and doing some really cool things to help you.
Yes, we actually didn't have a junior high program when I started. Oh, wow. So 9th grade was the first year you could be in it. So I was all in 9, 10, 11, 12. I think I took East four periods of the day.
I wish I could do that.
My senior year.
I wish I could do that. I'm in 2 right now. I wish I could do that.
It was a lot.
That's awesome.
That is awesome. So with being in East for 4 periods a day, you said, because obviously it was your favorite.
Right.
What do you think, how that created your favorite project? How were you able to get into that?
Oh my, I think having so many different class times, I had exposure to different students. I was with younger kids. I was with, kids that I'd been in East with for 4 years. I had a class with my best friend. So it was a lot of different exposure to different people and different ideas. And I could come up with my own projects, or I could work on other projects or work with younger kids on their projects. It was just a lot of exposure to a lot of different great ideas and examples of how we can help our community.
For sure.
So over your 4 years of East, obviously you had a lot of time in the East room, right? So I'm sure you came up with some pretty awesome projects. So what in those 4 years was just by far your favorite project?
My favorite, I don't know if it's called a project, but we applied for the Founders Award my senior year.
Yes.
And that was so fun to just have that literally sleepless nights.
Yeah, absolutely.
Getting our presentation ready and our video. That was just so fun. That was one of my most favorite memories of all the whole time being in East was getting that project ready and going over with everyone. We interviewed every student of what was your project, what was your favorite part of your project, and it was just so fun to get to see parts of projects that I didn't even know about or wasn't involved in, but we got to portray that on the big screen at conference. It was great.
I think Founders, those sleepless nights are definitely worth it.
Yes.
And I would definitely consider that to be a project. That's probably one of the biggest projects you could do in your years of East. Because that is just the epitome of your entire program is applying for Founders, because you're trying to show off everything that your program has to offer, how it is just the epitome of East. And so, yeah, I definitely would consider that to be a project for sure.
Oh, yeah. And especially when you're working with all those people, I'm sure that you were able to build on so many skills that you now translate into your career. So what would you say that you kind of took away from that?
From the Founders presentation, all of it. Yeah. So we, obviously I learned how to interview. We talked to the mayor for our project. We talked to the principal of the school. There were so many people that we got to go out into the community during the school day. Miss Taylor let us go out during the middle of the school day. And we thought we were so cool with our camera and our mic and everything and our little lapel. I think that was before Bluetooth was a thing, it was a wire
to the camera. Oh my goodness.
But it was so fun to just meet people and talk to people that are much more important than you, but they make you feel like you are so important to them in that moment. And that was so fun to get to grow those skills as a speaker and a communicator, was to talk to people that were more important than me at the time. It was great.
So you are very involved in the Jonesboro community, and you're actually correct me if I'm wrong, but the director of social media at ASU, right?
That's right, yes.
So at Arkansas State University. So you have a pretty big job.
I do.
And so how do you think East and your experience at Nettleton kind of helped you prepare for that?
So believe it or not, when I was in high school, social media wasn't really a thing. It wasn't even, it was around. I think Facebook started in like 2007 and I graduated in 2011. So it was just like barely taking off. So I can't say that I really learned social media skills in high school because it wasn't even a thing, which makes me feel so old. But it wasn't. But I learned how to present a project in the Founders Award. I learned how to do an interview and talk to people. I learned how to take a picture, how to make a video. All these skills that I use now in social media at A-State, I learned the foundations of those here in this classroom. I learned how to use Adobe, Photoshop, and even whenever we were doing Flash videos, that's not even a thing anymore. You guys probably don't even know what that is, but we did it. We learned it. And those technologies have evolved so much. Now we have AI and everything else, but we learned the foundations of all of those here in East. So I had a meeting with my boss the other day, and he's like, "You've kind of just shown yourself as kind of a jack of all trades." And I'm like, "Yeah, I can do it. I can do anything."
Yep. That's exactly what East teaches you to be.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like East equips every student. You can be the shyest kid and feel like you have no clue what you're doing, but you leave East and you're like, I can do anything that anybody throws my way. Like I can accomplish anything that I set my
so
mind
much
to.
confidence.
You are very involved with the Jonesboro community, and is community involvement something that you learned when you were in East?
Absolutely. We were encouraged to go out into the community, think of projects in the community, not just in the school or on campus, but in the entire community that we could go help with. One of my favorite was cleaning up a cemetery, which has nothing to do with, technology or the East classroom, but it had a lasting impact on the community. And I loved those kinds of projects of meeting people, and those connections that I made whenever I was serving the community have led me to the multiple jobs that I've had between high school and now, and ultimately to where I am now at A-State. If I didn't make those connections along the way, who knows where I would be.
Yes. I love how East has a way of just connecting everyone. I mean, we just made the comment about how Arkansas is just one big small town, but how it just connects everyone and everybody has that common interest, I think is,
Even now, even though I graduated almost 15 years ago, I have East in connection with people. Like, I know, oh, you were an East kid. Like, it's just a thing
It's a special kind of camaraderie for sure.
we're just
Club.
East people.
That's right.
It's really cool to kind of, especially the East connections that you build, because like I would have never known Blair had I never gone to East conference, and then now we're working together as the podcast host. Like I would have never met a girl from 2.5 hours away from me, and gotten to know so many fun people from so many different schools across the state had I never been a part of East.
I love it.
Yep, and the community and connections, I think, is just the biggest part of the whole the program as a whole. I mean,
it's unreal, the kind of connections and the people that you'll meet and how much of an impact that'll have on the rest of your life. I think Blair and I are realizing that at our age, and so I know for you for sure, being in the workforce, that's probably something that's definitely a big thing.
Absolutely. This is not replicatable anywhere else. I mean, you have to kind of embrace it while you're here and see where it takes you.
I agree.
Alrighty, well, thank you so much, Rachel, for taking your time out of your day to come and talk with us here on the podcast. We'll take a short break and we'll be right back with more Empowered by East.
Welcome back to Empowered by East. We're back at Nettleton High School speaking to yet another alum. Would you please go ahead and introduce yourself and tell us what year you graduated?
My name is Spencer Williams, and I graduated class of 2018.
Right.
So, Spencer, you were an East student, of course, at Nettleton. That's why you're here today to speak with us. So tell us a little bit about your time in East here at Nettleton.
I started out in 7th grade. I ended up taking a full year of PE so that they would let me take East as one of my...
Oh my gosh.
That's awesome.
It was a sacrifice I was willing to make.
Absolutely.
So
East is worth it.
I was able to be in East for all 5 years, 7 to 12.
Wow.
So
Yep.
that was really fun.
I know Aly and I have been at East for a minute, so being in there for, how many years is that? Is that 5 years? Yes.
Yep.
I mean, there's so much that can be done in that 5 years, and within that, what do you think your favorite project was?
Probably the Pleasant Grove Cemetery. We went out there and we used the GPS in our phones and an app from ArcGIS and basically took a picture and a point with our GPS for each of the headstones, and we were trying to create a map where you could search basically a database of names. So if you knew that your grandmother, whose last name was Ethel, was buried somewhere here, you could search her name or date of birth, date of death, or anything on the headstone, and you could find their specific grave in the cemetery. Because my grandmother talks about knowing that her grandmother or someone that she knows is buried somewhere, but not exactly where. So it was something that could help people in that situation to find people that they knew or have lost.
Well, that's
really interesting.
Cool.
And I know that that's really helpful for people, because especially sometimes you can go to a cemetery and it'd be this huge cemetery and you're like, where on earth is the person that I'm looking for? And so I know that that's really helpful for people to find the person that they've lost that they want to go and visit. So that's incredible, truly. So with your favorite project and kind of the skills that you learned from projects, learned from your time in East, tell us a little bit about how the skills that you took from East and from being in East here at Nettleton, how that kind of translated into the career that you have now.
So primarily from ArcGIS, there were all kinds of different maps and programs with that I just had the time to explore, and just some crazy things that would show pre and post tornado, what effect that had on communities and how they rebuilt after that. And it sort of helped me get into land surveying, because mapping is pretty closely related to that. And it's really what got me into that field. And I actually used some of my East projects for my last job, getting a position with the GIS department of Paragould Municipal Utility.
Oh, wow.
I brought that to my interview and showed it to them. And I think that helped me to show them that I knew what I was doing.
You're like, it worked. I know it works. I've done it before. That's awesome.
I got the job.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
So
So
obviously it worked.
Clearly it works.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So this is East 30, and GIS is a cornerstone technology that we use in East. So how was East able to show you the importance of it, and what made it, why? Why GIS?
I think that was really important because people need to know where things are. Like with the cemetery, or with what I work in now is utilities. You have to know where, your water hookup or sewer pipes and electrical utilities are, so that whenever you're building your community, you know what you have and what you need to expand further. It was really good working with the community and getting to hear their issues, things like that.
For sure. We love seeing the sense of community that East brings to all of us, and honestly, it just ties us in all together as a whole. So, for sure. Well, thank you so much, Spencer, for joining us today. We have a couple more interviews to go, so we'll be right back after this break.
Oh my gosh, Aly, guess what?
What?
There's a
You're pressuring us. Leave us alone. Turn around. Go away.
All right.
We're not giving them an option. They have to come.
Why don't we say, and we'd love to see you.
You there. You there.
This is going to come back in my highlights in like 10 years. They're going to be like, oh my gosh, call Blair and have her come on the podcast. I'm like,
Oh, no, imagine.
okay.
No, actually, it's going to be when you're interviewing the CEO of East, and it's me.
Yeah, when Aly's the CEO at East, and I have to go see her in her office. Oh my gosh, Aly, guess what is just around the corner?
What?
The world's shortest St. Patrick's Day parade.
Oh, my goodness. I cannot believe I almost forgot about that.
Oh, wait. I almost forgot about something too, though. What? East Conference.
Oh, my
Oh
goodness.
gosh. East Conference this year is going to be
March 17th through 19th in Hot Springs, Arkansas. We hope to see you there. Woo! Yes! Welcome back to Empowered by East. We just told you how much we'd love to see you at East Conference and have you there. But now we're going to talk with someone who is very familiar with East Conference. So could you please introduce yourself? Tell us what year you graduated as well.
My name is Ryan Bell. I graduated in 2021.
So tell us, Mr. Ryan, about your experience being in East at Nettleton.
My experience started way before I was actually able to join East. A mini course day. Ever since I did those courses, I've really wanted to join it as soon as I got to 7th grade, and I was able to. I joined up. I think by 8th grade, I was joining East Conference teams and involved in as many projects as I could. By the time I got to the high school and joined Miss Taylor, I was doing so many projects in here. It was a blast. You are gonna lie.
So you sound like a pretty perfect example of a well-rounded East kid. So you got in here as quickly as you could and were doing as many projects. That's pretty admirable, because I know sometimes it can be difficult. You walk in East for the first time and you're like, oh my goodness, there's so many things I can do. Sometimes you get a little caught up and you're like, oh, but what do I do? But there are some people who are just really blessed with the ability to just go for it all and do it all at one time. And I love meeting people who can do that because it's pretty remarkable for sure.
Especially over that long stretch of time that you stayed consistent and you stayed into it. And that is what is really impressive to me. So throughout that time, what do you think your favorite project was?
Ooh, that's going to be a tough question. I think my favorite, it's the one I personally led. It was, it's going to be the virtual pep rally.
Okay.
During COVID, we had many pep rallies the year before, and I really wanted the students and staff to have that experience that we haven't had for many months because of COVID. So what I decided to do was go out and film a bunch of stuff during homecoming. We did a virtual talent show.
Oh, wow.
We did all kinds of crazy stuff. We had a speaker, and we made about a 30 to 40 minute long episode that the whole school got to watch on the kind of a premiere live stream.
That's great. And I know that probably lifted a lot of the student spirits with COVID being such a difficult time where everybody's isolated. You can't have your fun pep rallies in person. I bet that was a really, really impactful thing for the kids.
A creative solution.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I would have never thought of that, but that is amazing. And I've never heard of that before. So that's unique for me for sure.
It just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I love that.
Just take the opportunity and just kind of just go with it. Yeah.
Well, I think when life or the world throws you something as crazy as COVID, you kind of just rise to the occasion and do what you can to help your school and your community. And I think that was a really great way to do that for sure.
Oh, yeah.
So how have the skills that you've learned in your time in East in general, so East also not just in Nettleton, but also your experience at conference, your experience on conference team, how do you think those experiences and learning those skills translated into the career that you have now?
So I have to admit, whenever I was going to go to conference for the conference team, I was going to be a videographer. That was the year that East got canceled, East Conference. That was in 2020, 2021.
Yep.
It was a big letdown.
Yeah.
But having to push forward and video just our virtual stuff and work with just the small team we had, it still was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that probably taught you so many skills of being able to just, adjust. And, so.
I did go to conference many other times, though. I went in 8th grade. I don't really remember much from then, other than a lot of fun with my friends.
I feel like that's what you just remember the most every time.
And then learning and, the available projects I could do from all the other schools. And by the time I was going in high school, I went one more time and before the COVID, and it was a lot of fun. I actually did get to video some.
Yeah.
Wasn't on the video team, but we had the lead videographer was on it, the Nettleton program, so I was over the shoulder trying to learn as much as I can.
As much as you can, for
that's
sure.
How, I know that's how me and Aly are when it comes to things that we're interested in.
Yeah.
We just
you got to help each other out. You got to help your fellow Eastie out sometimes. You got to just be like, okay, we're all, if we don't work together, we're not going to rise. So we got to work together so that we can kind of succeed and achieve as much as we dream of. And sometimes that feels harder and more difficult than you realize. But when you are working with people that you trust and that you care for, and you know that you both have the same goal, I think it makes it a lot easier. Definitely. For sure.
So was your time on the conference team, did that teach you any skills just with working with a team or anything like that?
I think that what I learned a lot, honestly, before conference started, because we had training that wasn't canceled. And I think his name was Steve Taylor. He was the guy who trained me on camera. I brought one of our big cameras from our television program that nobody really used on their own. And he taught me, he took it off of automatic and went into manual. And he taught me what each individual thing did. And it was mind-blowing, him going into extreme detail, what aperture did, what shutter speed did. And he was explaining this was a $10,000 camera that we've been using, like a $1,000 camera.
Yeah.
And he taught me how to sway to keep myself still. He was a really good teacher, and I wanted to apply all that in conference. Yeah. But honestly, just doing it there, I got to apply it later on, especially in college and now.
For sure. Well, I know for me, so I was lucky enough to be one of the speakers at conference last year. And so going into the leadership retreat, with it being my very first time on the leadership team, I had no clue what we were about to do. I was kind of nervous, honestly. I was like, okay, I did it. I reached my goal. I made speaker, but what the heck do I do now? But it was so cool because they brought in so many experts that were there to mentor each specific group, like how the videographers had one specific person, the photographers, us speakers had specific people. And so it was really cool to get that direct one-on-one mentorship with people people who know exactly what you're supposed to be doing and have done this before and can help you be as successful as possible at conference and even after. Just like you said, how you didn't necessarily get to use those skills in person like you would have liked to at conference that year, but it carried in further on in your life.
A lot.
And that's what makes East so important, is the opportunities that it gives students. Like, no, you're not just in a classroom, but you're doing what you want to do. But there's also people that are going to help you do what you want to do. Yep. So I think that makes a huge impact and just a difference in the learning environment as a whole.
Absolutely. Alrighty, well, thank you so much for taking some time out of your day today to talk with us and get to share your East story. Yeah. We will be right back with yet another interview on Empowered by East.
Welcome back to Empowered by East. We have a very special last guest for you all, so would you please go ahead and introduce yourself for us?
My name is Megan Morris.
So, Miss Megan, we have heard a little bit that you actually are not an East alum, but you have children that were a part of East for some time. So tell us a little bit about your experience and how you saw them grow and be impacted by their time in East.
Yeah, I think East is very important. It's a special place. I think our teachers do a good job at making sure each kid has a place and a project that fits them. I think it was great for my kids to be on projects, and then with those projects, there's always a community partner. Not always, but a lot of times they're a community partner.
Right.
And so getting to talk to professionals and what that looks like, a lot of kids, they're very looking down at their device. So to have to be able to speak to an adult and make eye contact and them talk back to each other,
right,
I think was really important at a young age. My kiddos did it 5th and 6th grade, and so they were young when that happened, and so it was impactful for them.
Yes.
I know for me, and I think I can speak for Blair as well, now that we talk for a living for East. One of the really cool things is that even if you are kind of a confident speaker at a young age, East teaches you how to refine that. And in those moments where you do work with community partners, you have to sit there and you have to look them in the eye and you talk back and forth and have a really engaging conversation, and you're trying to work and partner with them. And so you're trying to get something out of each other. They want your skills and your expertise and your East knowledge.
Yes.
And you're needing their help to fulfill whatever the needs are of your project and trying to help them solve their problems. So I think it's really important at any point in East that students have that chance to learn those skills of like just simply talking to people.
Well, and the problem solving skills, I think that they learned, and thinking outside of the box. I think that Ms. Fields did a good job of, like I said, finding those students and what they were good at, and then putting them on projects and focusing what they could learn and what they could pull from the project. I think that was a really, like I said, it was just impactful when they were young to be able to problem solve and think outside the box. And okay, that didn't work for this graphic or for the coding or whatever they were doing. And so how do we go back and do that again? And then also working with a team. Team, you're always going to have to work with somebody.
Yep.
And the younger they can do that and figure out the differences in how they communicate with other peers and how they interact with differences with each other, I think that's all of the things that East does. That's one of the things I think was great for my kids moving forward, is that they got to work with groups and figure out how to deal with that when we don't get along, or when we do get along. What does that look like?
Yeah, for sure. So East has that way of just creating that atmosphere and that environment of just like, I belong and I'm good at this and I'm going to get really good at it.
Yes.
So how were you able to see that in your kids?
In my kids?
Yes.
I have one that was very shy. And then I have one that is a second child, and they're just out there.
Yes.
They're just out there. And so for my first child, she was very shy and very kind of reserved. And I think East did a good job at bringing her out of her shell and making her feel confident in speaking to others. And now, she's on student council, and she's a dancer, and she speaks at church. And I think a lot of that happened when at the younger ages, and East was a huge part of that. For my second child, like I said, he's never been shy, but getting him to be professional and what that looks like, sitting at a table with someone in a suit and tie, I think that has helped him. Now, does he always go with what he's supposed to do? Probably not, but he knows what he's supposed to do, and East was great for that. Yeah.
East just has a way of building those soft skills. I mean, Aly and I both, I don't think we ever would have seen ourselves sitting here hosting a
Absolutely not.
podcast, but
Absolutely not.
here we are. And I've always thanked East for that opportunity to be able to just grow my skills. And so I know that's so important to so many East kids, and especially the parents, because I get to see that through them.
So tell us a little bit about kind of your direct parent perspective of the change that East made in your kids, and how kind of that might have made a change in you or in your family, because you see this kind of change in your kids, and that they're growing more confident and they're growing more professional. And so did that change any sort of dynamic where it's like, oh my goodness, my kids are really like, there's a real change in them?
Yes, just in how they spoke to other adults, whether it was family members or at church, or when they saw like one of our family friends that may not know very well, they just were more well-spoken and more well-rounded. They were able to listen better, because normally I don't know that there was ever a project that was by themselves. So they had to work in a group. They had to listen. And so I think East does a good job at helping them in more skills than just the project, but in life skills, communicating, listening, problem solving.
For sure.
Oh, yeah. So this is going to be our last question for you. And it's kind of a little random, but I'm sure you can answer it for us.
Okay.
So before we began talking with you, we hyped up the fact that Matt Dozier was your teacher.
Yes.
He's pretty famous to us.
yeah.
So
Yes.
And so what was he like?
Larger than life.
shocker, of course.
And so I had Matt Dozier, which he was Mr. Dozier. Oh gosh, 25 years ago, and was in class. And so
where was this at?
North Pulaski.
Okay.
North Pulaski is where I went to school. And he was the English teacher, and I had him for AP English. And he had a reading list that was long, and not just like, okay, we're going to read the Scarlet Letter, but like, we're going to read Canterbury Tales and the Iliad and the Odyssey, like big books. And so
That doesn't surprise me at all.
but the best, what was cool about it is we had summer reading. So you had to show up having already read all of these things.
Mm-hmm.
And so you show up and you've read it, but he made it come to life. And I'm sure if you know Mr. Dozier, he made it come to life. And so like the Canterbury Tales, like he would do all of the voices, like old English voices. And there, you know,
100%. I expect nothing less.
yes. And so we sat, his class was set up like not a traditional classroom. He always made us sit in a circle. And yes, and so we all kind of read aloud, or we listened to him read
In every voice possible.
in all of the voices. And so he just made it come to life. He always was just larger than life and made it fun. He made learning fun. And then in the back half of his classroom, it was very set up kind of like this, except for, when did East get started?
1995. This is our 30th year.
Okay. So this was probably 99, 2000. So it was, I guess, probably pretty early on. And I remember there being computers back there, and there were always kids back there working. And he just always had a way of making anyone who walked into his classroom feel like they were at home. He wasn't afraid to call you out, but you knew it was in love, because he'd normally make a joke about it at some point.
Absolutely. Yes.
Sounds about right again.
He just made learning fun. I mean, and we went to church together, and even then, you knew that he was just one of those teachers that just loved you. And he cared about what you were doing, and he knew all the kids' names, and even the kids that he didn't have in class, he knew. He was kind of in, we actually called it the dungeon, which I think is kind of what they call it, some of the places here. He was kind of down in the older part of my school, and so you had to want to get down there. But he just made learning fun, and that's what I remember. I don't remember what essay he made us do. I don't remember any of that kind of stuff. I remember sitting there and listening to, him read Homer and Chaucer, and
if he can make that fun,
If he can make that entertaining, then it's okay.
Y'all read the Canterbury Tales. Oh, it was awful, but he made it fun.
Yeah.
And so we loved going to his class, because you knew that you were going to learn. It was going to be fun. You were never bored.
Never be.
yes, I
Never
I
bored.
think that's possible.
That is something that still stands today for sure. I know any East kid for sure, especially if you've gone to conference and kind of gotten a direct like sight into Matt and getting to see him on stage, you're like, this guy's the coolest person I've ever seen in my entire life, because he has this way of just bringing you into, kind of like how you said, like making you feel like you're at home, but he's just so, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, just has
a way of just
this
drawing
way
you
about him.
in.
He just can bring you in
Yes.
and make you feel like you've known him forever and make you feel like you're the most special person in the world.
100%.
And it's like, how on earth does he do that with 4,000 people at the same time? But it's just incredible to get to have kind of get to see him. And I know for you, it's probably really cool to know that you were one of his students and then now he's the CEO of East and your kids were a part of East. That's a really big transition kind of.
My kids did EastCon during COVID.
Oh, fun.
And so it was all online.
Yes.
And so we've got the computer set up and I hear this voice and I have like flashbacks to high school. And I walk out to the living room and Mr. Dozier is like on stage yelling and super excited, or I don't think he was on stage. I think he was just, on a Zoom or whatever. But I was like, why is Mr. Dozier in my living room?
Right.
And I I don't know if I texted him or I Facebook, whatever it was, messaged him. And I was like, you're in my living room and my kids are watching you. It's just so weird. But it was really cool to see all of that and to see my kids still get to be a part of my teacher.
Yeah.
And so, but I love that he's still around and doing it because he's impacted a lot of people before East. He, English wise, and he just made learning fun. He was great.
And I
He is
think he
great.
brings that same energy into East and
for
his
sure.
everyday life for
He's
sure.
passionate about, if he's going to do it, he's just passionate about it. And that makes you want to be passionate about it, whether it's Chaucer or East.
Right.
Or you want to learn it too because he's so excited all the time about it.
Yeah. And with East, like with it being an organization directly for students, I think you kind of have to be that way because you have to engage these kids and make them realize what they're doing is worth their time and it's worthwhile and it's impacting something completely bigger than them.
Yes.
And he does a really great job of that because I know, like, we've gone to headquarters several times and you can knock on Matt's office door and if he's in there, he's going to show you something cool, one of the artifacts he has in his office that's just filled with things he gets from students, or he's going to tell you a really cool story and he'll stop whatever he's doing for however long he wants to.
Yes.
Just to be able to sit there and have that connection with students. And that is one of the most meaningful things that I've ever had the experience of having in East was realizing that even the highest person, normally when you think of some CEO, some president, you're like, oh my goodness, this person would be so scary, so mean. But then he's just a really down-to-earth guy who cares about the kids. And so having that experience is always like the most refreshing thing ever because it's like, wait, this guy knows who I am and he really cares about me.
It's a gift.
It's really cool.
He has a gift and it's really neat to see that he's getting to do that with you guys too.
Absolutely.
25 years ago, he did it for me as a teacher. And, it just made you feel welcome. And I went on to minor in English, and it was because of Mr. Dozier. He made it fun. Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Miss Megan. We really appreciate your time and you coming to talk with us today. And we will be back with a few more announcements on Empowered by East. Thank you so much for joining us today.
We know this episode will be airing just before Christmas, so from Aly and I, have a very Merry Christmas.
And a Happy New Year. We'll see you in 2026.